Welcome to another edition of the Mav and Call Show. I'm Mav.
I'm Caw. Howdy, howdy.
Call and I have been having a discussion
Yeah, I'm watching my mouth
on
because, there's butthurt people out there that will throw a fit if I say certain things that aren't even bad.
Yes. We do, and we try to follow the guidelines as closely as possible because we don't want to get kicked off any either.
Yeah, I don't want to get kicked off, but you know what? All the people that are watching us, like, if you don't like what we're saying, scroll on to a different thing. Don't be all, I'm going to get them in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, God, man, jeez.
We are Generation X.
The best generation.
The problem that we are having is Caw and I say things pretty bluntly. We don't sugarcoat it. We're
no reason to. We're Gen X.
Yeah, we don't sugarcoat anything. And so we were just discussing something about
how we grew up and
how we grew up in our generation. Today. And we won't go into too much detail, but there's certain guidelines that we have to follow for YouTube to make it right for everyone.
Because there's not really a such thing as freedom of speech. It's just only on, in your head. Because if you say stuff and people get mad, you'll be in trouble. They'll boot you. Some places will put you in jail.
Some you'll.
And I'm like, oh, so I don't have a freedom of speech. Yeah, no. I see how it works. You say I do just to make me feel good inside. Oh, man, you guys need I'm going to throw a lamp at everybody and tell you to lighten up.
So it's one of those things that we have to tread lightly on. But
yeah, I just found out we're allowed to cuss on here, so
you can't use the big words.
I know. I was just gonna say it's a joke, not a dick. Don't take it so hard.
Caw has a serious issue.
You guys don't know how hard it is for me to watch my mouth on these. Like there was one. I don't know if we posted it or not.
Oh, you
but
said
I said the F word. I was like, oh man, sorry about that. Like,
yeah, you said that.
I'm not sorry.
Yeah, he tries. He does try to watch his mouth because we understand that people have kids, and while they're watching, their kids are going to be watching. So we still do try to watch what we say. But Caw's issue, I think our whole generation grew up that way. We believed in freedom of speech.
Yep. Yeah,
we truly did believe in that. That was not.
I see kids these days cussing at their parents.
Oh yeah. Oh, man. I don't. My dad.
I had soap in my mouth if I did that.
Oh, at least that'd be the minimum of my problems.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was from my mom. I got it from my dad, but
Yeah, I would be way too afraid to do that to even to this day.
But you know what? We learned that way. You know what I'm saying? Like
there was the consequences.
You got punished when you did something wrong. They wouldn't just punish you just to punish.
Yeah, they don't get. We didn't get timeouts.
Yeah, we had to have messed up or whatever.
Yeah, the timeout.
I didn't get timeout.
Yeah,
I got grounded. Like, straight grounded, dude. Like
yeah, we were.
Go to your room. Don't come out for a week. Dinner will be at your door.
my generation was. I mean, we took everything. If it said freedom of speech, by God, we meant freedom of speech.
Yep.
We didn't mean
say what I want.
Yeah. I think that's one of the major causes of.
Who comes up with this crap anyways, man? You know what? You're limiting me to my speech and everything. Well, I'm going to turn around and do it to you, and I don't care if you call it treason or whatever you call it. But you know what, man? You better choose your words wisely, and you better make it short and sweet, because every paragraph you talk to me about is $10,000 a paragraph. So that's the fine for talking to me. I made that rule.
You know
what I mean? Like, jeez.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be so careful in today's. It's not like when we grew up.
No, it ain't, man. I don't know when this world got sissified, man.
I just.
And that's exactly what I'm calling it. You're mad at me if all you want. I don't care, man. This world is sissified, man. Man, I seen some of the men out there these days. These younger generations. Nobody's afraid of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
What are you gonna do when you get mad? Like, I heard that in the army now they have safe spaces for
probably.
when your drill instructor yells at you too much.
Yeah,
What is that?
yeah,
Man, come on,
yeah.
man. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. If you got, man, I'm telling
There's
you
yeah.
what, man. I tell you what.
It's generational gaps, man. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yep.
I don't understand, and maybe that's where everything kind of, because being raised Gen X,
Yeah.
when we had our kids, we were different. We didn't want to be that way with our kids, and
Yeah.
it caused,
My kids came out good, dude. They really did.
yeah,
And we were stern parents,
yeah,
but we weren't
overbearing,
right. I mean, they were happy kids. You know what I'm saying?
right?
Like,
Yeah,
but yeah, man.
I mean,
For
I read a article the other day that the girls who are now, grew up and they're in their 20s and 30s, they have issues because no guy will approach them because guys are terrified
the
of
woman,
what they're, yeah, because these women are like, don't talk to me or this or that, or
yeah,
guys are terrified
or they
of,
want to wear skimpy clothes, talking about don't look at me.
yeah,
Don't wear it in public. I won't look at you.
I mean, guys used to approach girls.
Yeah,
Now
they
they
did.
don't.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
don't.
They're
They-
afraid of rejection. They're afraid of what the woman will say to them. They're
Exactly.
afraid the woman will scream and run and call the cops just because you said hello.
Yeah.
Like,
So, and they're like, and then they come, it's, you really need to find what works in our generation worked for
Yeah.
for the time we had.
You know what I had to stop doing? I stopped myself from doing?
What's that?
Saying darling or
Yes.
or sweetheart.
Or hun.
Yeah, you can't do that. I'm not your darling. Like, it's a term of endearment, man. Get over yourself, man. I'm not calling you darling like I want to be with you.
Right.
Like,
It's
the
just-
last time I did that, I think I was in a grocery store or a gas station, one of the two, and this chick was taking up the whole aisle. Like standing with their feet apart and like swinging her, like being a younger generation than me.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to get through it. I said, "Excuse me, darling." And she's like, "What'd you say?" And I said, "Excuse me." She said, "What'd you call me?" I said, "Darling." So, "I'm not your darling, blah blah blah. You're old enough to be my grandpa." And I was like, first of all,
Right.
Like, man, I ain't calling you darling like that.
See,
man.
now I would have hurt
Stop
somebody's
it.
feelings.
Yeah.
I would have hurt their feelings.
Oh, I did. I just can't say it on here. 'Cause, freedom of speech. That's why I can't say it on here. I told her a few choice words. Like, I called her the C word.
I mean,
I was like, look at here, C word.
I'm one of those people that I'm gonna make you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah.
I took, like, our generation is known for the sarcasm that we have. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
true.
Oh, yeah. Did you notice our generation, when somebody tries to cut us down or put us down, we are so quick with a comeback
So
that
fast.
will hurt your feelings, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I mean, yeah. Well, our generation was born and raised on sarcasm.
And we are we're the masters of your mama jokes.
Yes. Yeah, when it comes to what we used to call snapping, most of you can't hang with the Gen Xers.
Right.
It's too fast, too quick.
My favorite your mama joke is, your mama is so stupid she thought Cheerios was donut seeds. I like that. It's funny, dude. Can you imagine planting Cheerios?
Donut seeds.
Oh,
We're and it's not that we look down on the other generations. We just think like
Excuse
we
me.
don't get involved in the generational wars.
Yeah.
It's
No, I
not-
don't. I stay away from
Yeah,
that.
it's not something I care about because I just don't
Dude,
care.
Honestly, these younger generations have made me agoraphobic. If you don't know what that means, it means you don't like to be out in public around a bunch of people. I do not like being out in public, dude. Like, I'm so afraid I'm going to get into a fight.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I can't stand stupidity.
No, and that's where that's a lot of my
That's
issue.
yeah.
Yeah. We like when we went to, it was different for schools too, because we went to school.
Yeah.
We learned.
Yep. They're just the way schools
Now
are nowadays.
they don't learn nothing.
Nope. Dude, they took away art and music.
Yes.
Like, how are you gonna take that away, man?
Oh, they don't care about that. They care about money.
Yeah.
School districts now are about the money. They're not about the kids. As long as the school board is collecting their paychecks, they'll take from the kids to get that. They
Yep.
don't care. It doesn't bother them.
Yep.
When we were in school, I remember every single teacher I had, whether it was history, science,
Yeah,
math,
I remember mine too.
geography,
Because
it didn't matter.
we had cool teachers, man.
It was question everything.
Mm-hmm.
Question it. Learn why things are the way they are.
Yep.
Now they've taught them don't question nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And
Don't
you remember
question.
the quiet kid in class?
Mhm.
The teacher would be saying something like, say it was me. They were like, "So you, well, I can't say my name. Hey, so you, Caw, what do you think about this?" And I'm like, and I wasn't even paying attention. You know, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and then they would make me pay attention and learn. You know,
Right.
and then they want your thoughts on it and everything. Nowadays, the teacher won't pick the quiet kid in class, because the kid will go home and tell their parents that the teacher picked on him.
Right.
Like, what? Like, yeah, I chose your student because they're quiet in class all the time. I want them to be socially with the group, you know,
Yeah.
like what's the word I'm looking for?
Well,
Join in. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, join in with us, and
yeah, you want them to be a part of everything going on.
conform.
It's just things are so different.
Corrosion of conformity.
You know what I mean? They're so different. I asked my 22-year-old daughter, almost 23, and her 18-year-old brother. I asked both of them a very simple question.
What was the question?
What language do they speak in Australia?
Okay, so I didn't know this either, dude. But I did, though, at the same time.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, I just thought there was major parts where they had a different language.
One of them said Chinese.
Sorry, man. What?
One of them said Chinese, and the other one was like, "Well, I don't know, Spanish."
Wow.
And I said, "Holy!" Now, think about that.
Yeah.
My 22-year-old has graduated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chinese. What the heck?
My 18-year-old hasn't graduated yet, but probably needs a little more schooling.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, it's English.
Yeah. Who would have thought? And they say things different though out there. Like
Okay.
instead of a parking lot, it's a car park. Instead of a grocery cart, it's a trolley.
Yeah.
And there was
And it's still-
this one guy I used to work with was from Australia, and he said that the dishwasher machine that we used at my job, he said, you know what they call a dishwasher in Australia? And I was like, what? He said, it's a pot walloper. And I was like, a what? He said, a pot walloper.
Yeah.
It's a pot walloper. It wallops the pots inside, cleans them. I'm like, a pot
Yes.
walloper? He's like, yeah.
Yes.
I was like, okay, bro.
So
That's pretty wild, but it's still English, though.
another great example. My 18-year-old was talking about going to New York. Okay. And I said, where is New York? Point in which direction. This was what I said. I want you to take your finger and point in what direction New York is. Do you know what he did?
What? Up?
Yep.
You know what? Okay, so while we're bagging on these younger generations, there was plenty of people in our generation that if you asked them which way north was, they would point up.
Right.
I'm like, no, dude. Like,
Yes.
that's up, that's down. North is this way. South is the opposite of that.
And I said, okay, so it's up. He said, yes. I said, now, would that be east, west, north, or south? And he said New York.
Is the East.
Well, that's the correct answer.
What he
But that
say?
is not the answer he gave.
What did he say?
He said New York is out west. So not only do my children not know standard...
He's going to travel to New York and be like, how am I in California?
So not only do they not know geography, they do not know their directions, they do not know simple common sense because they weren't taught anything.
If I have to
every day,
if I have to travel a certain direction and I don't have a phone or a compass or a map, I use the sun.
Right.
I use the sun.
But see, they
in
don't.
The east and sets in the west.
They don't even know that.
Oh wow, man, that's
because
that's not good.
Every single day my 22-year-old would come home. They don't have books.
Right.
If Google doesn't tell them, they're not taught it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, they can't even.
But you try to teach them at home, but they're like they don't want to learn.
They don't know.
You know, like
no, they do not care.
Complain until they're not. You know. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to learn this. Blah 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 blah. I want to go in my room and play. Blah, blah, this and that, whatever. You know, like okay, fine, go ahead. Be not smart for the rest of your life.
My fear is like they're going to grow up, and we're not gonna. You know, we're getting old. Gen Xers are getting old.
Yeah, well, I'm only 45, so you speak for yourself.
But what's going to happen when we're not here?
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear because they couldn't find their way apparently to the grocery store.
It's right down the street.
I know. So it frightens me to think about that because they don't have the education.
You know, the generations before us, our parents, you know, their generation.
Boomers, yeah.
You know how they would be like, oh, we had to walk to school in the snow and then we stood in the rain.
Yeah.
You know what? They're not lying. And because our generation did the same thing. Nowadays, when it's cold outside, we're canceling school.
Yeah.
Dude, what happened to standing in the snow? We literally did that.
Yeah,
we literally stood in the snow.
Many memories
up to our shins at least,
standing in snow, waiting on a school bus.
And if you didn't have snow boots or protective gear, you're just cold.
Not only were we standing in the snow, it was still snowing when the school bus picked you up.
Yep, that's what the windshield wipers are for.
Yep.
Wow, and then the flashy light on top. Whenever they had bad weather, that light would flash on top. You know, so people could see.
So people could see it.
Yep. Now they're like, oh, it's a bit chilly out. You know, like
they get. Yeah.
Oh, we're having flurries Monday. We're canceling school. Like what? And it'll be that snow that don't even stick anymore, man. It melts by the afternoon.
It's just we live in a crazy, crazy world.
Yeah.
You know, and I do fear for my kids because
I call these days the crybaby days.
They don't even know their directions.
Yeah.
At their age.
Man, that's crazy.
North, east, south, west. Okay, they're very simple.
Yeah, yep. South America is south.
Canada's north. Would be north.
What's west? Mexico is west, southwest.
And then they can't.
On, man.
They can't even do simple math.
And they should know this by songs. I'm from the West Coast. And then talking about California, you know, because they all listen to rap and stuff these days.
Let's back the radio flyer up.
I'm just saying, man.
My 18-year-old will turn his music on in the bathroom or in the kitchen when he's doing chores, and you will not believe what he listens to.
What does he listen to?
Indian music.
What do you mean Indian music?
I mean from India.
You talking about the duck?
Yeah.
Wow. No offense to any Indian people out there. I love you guys.
No, not yeah. No, I'm just saying like I don't understand like they're.
Hey, maybe so maybe he likes the sound of a sitar.
No. There's no. It's like the
you know.
No, it's like some like computerized music that. Oh. It's weird. You'd have to hear it.
Oh, like the anime stuff?
Sort of.
That's why he likes anime. You know what? I see what you're saying now, because I know a lot of younger generation people that listen to music that they don't understand the words because it's not in English, but they
I
still
just,
love it. I
and I'm just
I
like,
like some songs,
I don't
some music
understand.
that's not English.
I
Like
don't
I like
understand
Rammstein, they sing in German,
their mentality. I
and
don't
I don't
understand the
know German,
mentality.
but I do look it up and see what they're saying though. You know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
that's the thing. I don't understand the mentality of,
Du hast,
you know what I
du
mean?
hast mich. Yes.
I don't understand their mentality of why wouldn't you want to learn these things?
Yeah. I would love to learn another language. I think German would be one that I would
You know,
learn.
I mean, I'd be proud if that's what he was doing, but he's not.
Yeah.
You know, because if you ask him what they're saying, he's going to tell you the truth. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to learn German, Spanish, and Chinese. I would love to learn them three languages.
I mean, I fear for my children. I fear because I'm getting older,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm not going to be here forever to protect them.
Right, right.
And then I don't know what they're going to do. You know,
Yeah. Well,
and
that's when you got to take the terminology from our generation, FAFO.
yeah,
F around and find out.
that's it. And that's
So,
what I keep telling them. Y'all the ones that's gonna have to live through that.
and I mean, we learned, our generation learned a lot of stuff by trial and error.
That's it. That's how we learn.
That's the same thing as FAFO, man.
It's called the hard way.
Yep. It's a hard knock life. Yeah, we did learn the hard way. You know, our parents told us, and we heard them say it, but we was like, I think they're just saying that to be not let me find out what's really good. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
But no, we found out.
And then we found out it's the really hard way.
Yeah, I've been hurt so many times.
Yes. That's
and
true.
Then we didn't get the old, pampered on the pat on the back. You
Right.
okay?
Yep.
No, we got, what did you learn?
Yes. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, how did that feel? Did you like that? I bet you won't do that again.
Yep. My dad one time, I was out riding my bike and I had a wreck and I tore a huge chunk of my chin out. Okay. I have a scar here.
Yeah.
So I go home, I'm pouring blood, skin's hanging off my chin. My dad takes me in the bathroom, but puts 2 band-aids on it, and he said, "All right, you're fine. I butterflied it. Go back outside."
Yeah. That's the same thing. Okay,
Yeah.
so when I was a kid, they was like, quit climbing the trees, you're gonna fall and hurt yourself. And I was like, no, I'm a good climber, So I get way up in the tree and I fall out. Well, I busted my head right here. I got a knot on my head still to this day. I got a knot on my head. I have a scar right here on my nose. You can't see it on this, but there's a little scar there. A stick ran in through the side of my nose. So I'm coming in the house. I got a stick hanging out of my face. I got one that went in my arm. And now the lady down the street was a little nurse or whatever she was, and she did the same thing. She did a little butterfly band-aid things, and it was like, okay, you're all better. And then whenever they said I was all better, I quit crying.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, this ain't so bad. And so, I mean, that makes you tough. It does.
Oh,
yeah. Like you grew up. Just the other day at work, I stuck my hand in the fryer. I don't know if you can see how messed up it is on camera, but yeah, like my skin is splitting open.
Yeah, he had a massive blister.
I had a massive blister right there. It still is a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's better. You can see it.
Yeah.
I stuck my hand in the fryer on accident. I was cleaning the fryer, and the one vat was empty. And I turned around to grab the other equipment I needed. And when I came back around, for some reason, I stuck my hand in the vat that was full because it looked empty because the oil was dark and it's dark inside the vat, I stuck my hand right in the fire and then I was like, man, and like it popped and everything. It splashed me on my belly. And my manager was standing next to me and I was like, hey, I didn't like scream or nothing like everybody else would and cry,
Right.
I just was like, hey, she was like, what's up? I was like, hey, I just stuck my hand in the fryer. And I held up my hand and it was all beet red and everything. She was like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? I was like, yeah, don't freak out, man. It's cool. And I was like, I was just letting you know I did it. She went and got some topical spray stuff for burn cream or whatever. And then she put this glove on my hand and I was like, it started getting hot.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, man, you just made it feel worse. It's getting hot. It hurts. And she was like, oh, take the glove off. I took the glove off and it was like instant relief.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, man, don't put
Yeah,
stuff
because
on
the
me.
glove was keeping the heat on your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in our other podcast, I was talking about how I was pushed off a bridge and everything.
Yeah.
And so, like, I broke my foot and I broke a rib or two, and I broke another bone in my hand, and cracked my skull and all kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, I got up and walked home. I didn't go to the hospital or the
Right.
cops or nothing. I walked home on a broken a broken foot, and it was like a 2-hour walk to get to my house.
You know, that's what
And I'm not exaggerating that either. I just came from my buddy's house, and he lived 2 hours away walking distance.
We were straight up like I mean, we were bred to be tough.
Yep.
Very tough.
And plus, growing up, I was like a daredevil, you know?
And because you were tough.
Dude,
you were like,
remember-
hey, let me do this.
You remember jumping ramps on bikes?
Yes, I do.
With homemade
loved it.
ramps?
Yes.
Oh, man, them were the best, man. Them were the
Yes.
best times. Man, I would get so much air, dude. I'm like,
Yep.
You felt like you're flying. You
Man.
felt indestructible.
Yep.
All the way until that
Your friends
until
would
you
lay
landed
down.
and that bar came and wrecked you in the nuts.
Your friends would lay down in front of the ramp to see how many
Yes.
friends you could
Yes,
jump.
them were the
Yep.
real daredevils right there. The ones that laid down.
You
Sorry,
know.
Timmy. Sorry. I'm sorry, bro, if you're watching this.
I mean, we,
I landed. I wasn't going fast enough. You know?
that's
Or garbage cans.
yeah.
We would line up the garbage cans and jump
That's
them.
what I'm saying, man. We were a tough generation. We were freaking tough.
Yeah.
You know, we did those things. We lived, but think about how many memories we have.
Yeah.
Okay, now when I was my kids, even my youngest, 18. Okay,
Mhm.
by the time I was 18, I had so many memories, dude, of doing all of having that childhood.
Yeah.
The only memories my kids have is being on their phones.
Yeah.
Or their
that's sad.
laptops.
That's sad, man. It's really sad. You're like missing a whole wide world around you.
That's what I keep
Our
telling them.
world could be beautiful, man, if people quit ruining it for,
Yeah,
like,
I mean, we have a great. You know what? Our family life is great. We eat dinner together every night as a family.
the phone time would have been a privilege.
Yes,
If we
absolutely.
had, if we had phones like that we have now, but we had the parents that we had back in the 80s,
Yep.
that you can play with your phone for like an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You get an hour of phone time. Other than that, you're going outside, you're playing, you're being a kid, you're doing kid things,
Yep.
and you're not gonna be secretly on social media talking to adults. That's for dang sure, man. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
that seems to be a big problem these days, man. These little youngsters wanting to get online and talk to adults, man. So if you parents out there, if you letting your kids play on their phones, make sure if they're young, under 16, whatever age, make sure you know what they're doing on their phone, because they could be talking to somebody that's a creep, and then we'll find your house. You know what I'm saying? Like,
now my 16-year-old has not my 16. I'm sorry. I keep thinking he's 16. My 18-year-old does. We do have a app on his phone where we can track him. And stuff.
see,
and,
like, do that. Like, make sure your kids are safe. Man.
he is allowed to go down to the park. Like, sometimes his friends will call and say, hey, we're gonna go play basketball, and he'll say, can I go, and things like that.
Right.
The world we live in, it's just the technology just
it's too
used
much.
in
It's
a
too
bad
much.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a person with superpowers being an evil person. You know?
But we love every generation.
You know what we had when we were kids? We had people come on television at 10 o'clock every night saying, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
Yes.
Every night, man.
Every night.
Oh, yeah, man. We got to go get the kids.
But I mean, every generation has its ups and downs.
We had to be in yelling distance. We'd hear our parents yell our names. We had to go.
Well, like, we had to be home by the time the street lights came on, but we were allowed to play in the yard until it was darker.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? As long as we stayed in the yard.
We got 30 seconds left.
So, well, we love you guys.
Thanks for listening to us about our generation. We hope yours could be as cool as ours one day, but
That's
probably
right.
not.
We'll see you guys later.
See ya.